Welcome to Horton Implants Oral Bites with your hosts, Kate Bootman, Will Murphy, and Carl Horton.
And he said that.
Did he?
Yeah.
That's a killer punchline.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back. You will see I'm back from my holidays. I mean, it's such a chore now coming on these webinars, you know. I mean, I need the holiday.
You're looking well.
I don't
You're
have
looking
enough.
well tanned.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you. But
Where'd you go?
just so
Antarctica?
that we're all making it clear, I was stuck in a traffic
Birmingham.
jam last week, and these naughty boys were telling everybody I was not. So welcome back. Hope you've all had a fantastic week. Can't believe we're the middle of October and we're in touching distance to a little bit of Halloween. See, Carl's already dressed up. Ready?
Hey.
Yeah. This is my Christmas outfit.
I'm here all night. Right, gentlemen. Hello. Mr.
Hello.
Murphy, how are you and how has your week been?
Hello. Yeah, very good. Usual busy kind of thing. Got a few full arch cases landing on my dental chair, so I'll have to consult the expert about that. No, I was going to make a joke, but
When we find
Was that Simran?
Too predictable. So yeah, all that sort of busy stuff. And today I had a frantic drive down to Harpenden, where I work in a specialist centre, because they were doing some filming. You know, that sort of company, are they Foucault or someone, who tend to do like video filming of patients' testimonials, and then you have to do your sort of dentist, Dr. Gorgeous piece to camera with lots of sincerity. So, you know, that was me all over, talking about dental implants and why I'm so great, you know, that kind of thing. So, you know, just
how long
slipped
did
off
it
the tongue.
take?
it took seconds. Yeah. So you're basically sort of selling yourself, and they're asking you lots of questions, and you just feel like you're repeating yourself forever and ever. But apparently they cut it all up.
Do you feel natural doing it? Well, do you feel natural though? I mean, I've seen some of the stuff on your website, and I have got to say, you do look a born natural. Honestly, you do. But do you feel comfortable? Oh, you're welcome. I am. It's for that mug. I will get a mug.
You will. It's all those years in RADA, darling. You know, with the training, getting into persona. You know, be a dentist. You know. So
be at one.
Yeah, exactly. So it's probably my theatrical bent, you know. No, do you know what? I don't know. I think I'm just quite good at talking rubbish. So I just prattle on until people stop me, or I just come to a dead end.
But it went okay.
Yeah,
oh, very
fine.
good.
Yeah, just literally there for about 45 minutes. You know, so there's a few cringy bits where one of my patients was in, and I had to do that thing where you're pretending to point at a model of a tooth and the patient's looking really interested, or I'm pointing at an x-ray.
Do you know what? Once you
facial expressions.
Yeah. Once you start doing it, it's that thing that you notice all the time, isn't it? It's like when they do that, I don't know, the repair shop, and they walk into the building for the first time and they have to act surprised that they've never seen the broken. Oh, what could that possibly be? Let's tell it. Oh, you know, and it's that kind of, it's pretty good acting, to be fair.
It's all that, yeah. You feel like you're an extra or something, you know.
Yeah.
Sort of just pretending to have a conversation, because they were doing some filming without any sound. So, you know, it's like you're actually saying, what did you have for breakfast? You know, that kind of thing. So that's a way of getting conversation going without, you know, talking too much.
It's funny you
rubbish.
should say that, actually, mate, because I got a little bit narked, only for a few seconds, because I was walking through
with your
reception.
breakfast?
Yeah, I was walking through reception in Wales, and they've got the TV, and they've got me on talking about the implants, and with one of the patients, Janet, who obviously we can mention because she's consented to it all, who was a great implant case, lovely lady. In fact, we saw her recently. And stop chewing those chicken bones is all I'm going to say.
Yes.
Stop it.
But there was another implantologist chatting about implants on the TV screen
What?
in the reception in the yeah. That's I was a bit,
Oh,
what the.
hang on
So
a
of course,
minute.
I threw my toys out the pram. They say, "Oh no, that's the
Threw
general one."
stuff around the surgery.
Yeah,
Rip the TV off the wall.
Punch the manager. Yeah.
Stormed out. Talked to my agent. He said,
"Yeah, normal stuff."
So you took it well then.
Yeah. Well, I've got to buy my new TV, but it's fine. And there's a bit of plastering that needs doing.
Well, that's quite smooth actually. So how has your week been then, Carl?
Angry boy.
A little bit like that. Well, I had a fight with
From
the
your
scanner.
padded self?
And I had a fight with the scanner on Monday. So it's not as much as I do love the digital process. I didn't mind the analog, to be honest with you, and the digital took a bit of a learning curve. And I'd hope that after all this time and the number of scans that I'm doing, I'm pretty all right at it. Same as you are when you take loads of impressions. You know when it's okay, you know when it's not okay. But this bloody scan did not want to scan this one scan flag, and I was feeling for the patient after a little bit. I mean, after 3 hours of having your mouth open, with me trying to, and it just did not want to pick it up, no matter how much. I mean, it was. I won't say what I was going to say, but it was very dry, and you really thought that it was going to pick it up, but no, it would not pick up this. It got what I thought was most of it, but we're waiting to see whether or not it's the lab are going to be able to do anything with it. So the way the scan flags work is
snapped your scanner in half, ripped the TV off the wall.
Yeah. Do you know, I did that as well. Can I say this on there? Actually, can I say this on there? There was a situation where my foot got caught underneath a little part of some equipment, and it pulled the equipment off of the table, and the equipment fell on the floor. It wasn't necessarily my equipment, but it was quite embarrassing. And it's not cheap equipment either. It still works. It was very funny. Still works. So that was Monday and Wednesday when I broke everything, and then yesterday was patient management skills is probably the best way to put it.
Not anger management.
It wasn't my anger management; it was somebody else's.
Oh, really?
So
no.
Just that just a little bit of dissatisfaction, and understandably regarding something, but it's probably taken to a level that I didn't really expect it to get to, and the support that I had was fantastic from everybody around, which includes somebody here as well. So it was it's very nice when you've got that level of and we're not talking about gatekeeping. We're talking about people just looking after you and making sure that that they're doing the best that they can to help alleviate the situation before it gets silly. And it's nice to have that. You feel I don't know, protected isn't the right word, but you just feel like you've got a really good team and you're all gelling together. But obviously there were little things they missed out, so I had to punch one of them. And I'm joking. Just might be listening. So that was interesting. I think sometimes when it comes to what we do our very best to get everybody satisfied, because we don't want people that aren't satisfied. And it doesn't matter whether you do your best. Sometimes things just don't work out. Whether that's the lab. So one of the things that happened was this is somebody entirely different. So it has been a fun week. There was a button that was clicked on the process for making the implant crown, and the analog changed from one setting to another setting. So the crown that we got back didn't fit the implant that we got, because it was just an accidental click on there. So everything was fine, lab ends, or so they thought. But when they looked back at it, they went, "Oh, we know exactly what's happened." Of course, they sent it to me thinking it was perfect. I looked at it and thought, "Sure, that's not the type of implant that's in that patient's mouth." No, it's not. So the patient was lovely about it, but it's little things like that, and it's those little expectations. They're expecting to get a tooth. It's a big day for them, and you can show them one, but you can't fit it.
Yeah.
And most of the time, people are absolutely fine about it, but sometimes they get a little bit upset.
I try and build some of that into the chat. That certainly more probably with things like bridges and things. I quite often say, this is more than likely going to be a try-in with a bit of tinkering and back to the lab. So you're sort of under promising in some ways, and
yeah,
then
definitely.
Then if it's all good to go, it goes on, and you're the hero, aren't you? That's
yeah.
Nice side of things. And again, I've had a few bits and pieces over the last couple of weeks. Clearly there's been some movement of the impression, so the analog's wrong. It's just, you can tell it's just a bit of an angle, and it's not a major fix, really. The lab can sort that out quite quickly, but it just takes up a bit more time. It's a bit more annoying, a bit more chat, isn't it, that you have to have?
Yeah. I think on the whole, if you explain to the patient pretty much what you've just said, if you actually say, do you know what, I can see what's happened. When I took the impression, there was a drag, or when it went to the lab, it was this. And like obviously with Carl saying, look, it was as simple as much as it's inconvenient, and we appreciate that you wanted your tooth, just a button was pressed. And I think when you're honest and you say it as it is, as much as they might be disgruntled, most of the patients are like, well, fair enough, so what are we going to do?
Yeah, and you've come this far in the journey anyway, so it's just a little bit of extra time. Hopefully people appreciate that it's not run-of-the-mill dentistry. It's it's more complex dentistry, and these things can happen.
And they
I blame COVID.
Welsh COVID.
That's what Welsh COVID.
Well,
it's the worst.
Well, I'm blaming COVID because there's no squeezy Marmite. You only get glass jars. I'm blaming COVID flat out. No squeezy Marmite.
COVID, Brexit.
Is that just in Shropshire, or is that across the whole of the UK?
Anybody out there, if you find a squeezy jar of Marmite, send it my way.
I've got a cupboard full of it.
Oh yeah,
that's why there's none.
With the toilet rolls.
And me, mate.
I stocked up. Yeah, while I was going for my third tank of petrol of the day.
Yeah.
I thought I'd better top up with the
get the toilet roll out of the way to get to it.
Of course. Well, that had already gone. I'd got that last week.
Hoarding, you little
hey,
hoarders.
Now, you all of a sudden you're talking about problems with digital scanners, and I've just blinking bought one. I'm going to send it back. I'm going to cancel the order. I'll go back.
When did it arrive?
It hasn't arrived yet. I've just signed the paperwork. Just parted with the cash. So I've sort of go. Trios seemed to be the
excellent.
To be the way to go. Had a little look around, different ones. I was tempted with Prime Scan. Looked pretty nice. The new one.
Yeah.
But pricey.
What made you choose that over the others? Was there anything that was there a particular selling point of it, or?
Do you know what? Not really. I just had a sort of little look at different bits and pieces. Did a bit of research. Just seemed like that would cover all bases. Open system. For what I want to start off doing, which is probably nothing too adventurous, I thought that should do the job.
I think that's it. For me, it's like that as well. It ticks a lot of boxes. It's an open system, and you can do a lot more with it. So you're not just limited to that little niche, if you like. There's a lot more with it. I've no offense to Itero. I've played with the Itero in many guises. So when it first came out, and when it was the size of a chair, to how it is now, and I do find that one a little bit more. Just maybe because I'm not using it as much, a little bit more difficult to use. And the other ones I think are quite nice, but there's just something about the Trios scanner that for me, I just seems to be a very nice scanner. I do like it.
I think if I was using more...
Except on Monday.
Except on Monday, when it was broken into pieces.
Don't use it on a Monday.
No. We all feel like that on a Monday, though, so you can't blame the scanner. Yeah. I mean, I had a demo of a Prime Scan when we were looking at the new Prime Taper implants. And I think if I was a hard and fast, dyed-in-the-wool dent sply implant guy all the way through, then I probably would be tempted, because they seem to have married up the whole system and the whole flow really nicely. Some of the software just literally throws everything together instantly. And now I don't know huge amounts about it, but even for a bit of a Luddite like me, it seems like this is a nice, smooth pathway through everything from start to finish, and the software is doing everything for you. So yeah, that certainly was tempting, but yeah, no, I'm pretty happy with what I've got and looking forward to using it and phoning you up every other day. And
when do you hope to get it, Will?
I don't know. How long did it take you when you signed the forms?
It wasn't long, was it? It was probably a couple of weeks,
10
wasn't
days.
it? Yeah.
I think something like that. Yeah. So it'll be that thing. Take it out of the box, throw the manual away,
mate.
And
I scanned everything. I think I scanned Seb's teeth. I think I scanned his eye. I think I tried to scan his hand, and at that stage, the scanner wasn't knitting everything together as well as it does now. So you could do somebody's hand now.
With that light, you did his eye. For anybody out there, don't try this at home.
Wait, so he had his eyes shut. He had his eyes shut like that.
And that's what he's been like ever since.
He's got another one.
Yeah, he'll be all right. Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to look forward to hearing what you think of it, Mr. Murphy.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to, just trying different bits and pieces. I don't know how much guided surgery you're doing these days.
A little bit, not a huge amount, but yeah, it is probably when you start that, I would sort of, if you've got a 3D printer and all that sort of jazz, or you're gonna go with great, I'll just do that. Go through the lab, and it does knit really nicely. So you're going to grab a little bit more. I suppose you're going to use Blue Sky, because you need another bit of software. So depending on what package you've got, you can use the Implant Studio with the Trios, or you can get another package. You can get the free package from Blue Sky, which you can import, and then you pay to export your model when you've planned it all.
Well, go on then. If you were having, regardless of cost, what you think is the best one, what would you use?
Do you know, I although co-diagnostics is a little bit more complicated, the dental wing software, I do like it. There's just something about it that I think is quite nice. So I do like the co-diagnostics. The reason that I don't use the Implant Studio is because I'm having to sometimes grab CBCTs from different sources, and we've just struggled sometimes to import the CBCT from some of the sources into the software. But when you can get that to merge, and when it does merge, it's a beautiful piece of software. So I think if I hadn't have had that issue, I'd probably quite like the Implant Studio. But the co-diagnostics, because it seems to just take every single thing that we throw at it and import it without any issues whatsoever.
But presumably it's just picking out DICOM files, is it, and marrying it?
Yeah. I'm not really sure what it is. It's a third-party scanning company that send us the scans, and it's not locked. It's not locked software, but there's some parameter missing on the DICOM file that, for whatever reason, the Implant Studio could not work out or put it into the correct place. So we just weren't getting a full import on the CBCT scans, which was a shame, because I quite liked the way that it looked. It's very, very intuitive, very intuitive.
Yeah.
Co-diagnostics is a bit more complex, takes a little bit more thought, but it just does the same thing at the end of the day. And then I think that the digital dental guys, Adam McNulty and those guys, they're using a South Korean software, and I can't remember what it's called, but I've tried that, and that's actually quite nice.
Okay.
And for the life of me, I can't remember what the name of it is, but
and are they all about the same price, the ones that you have to pay for?
No. The one, and I'll try and remember the name, and I'll let you know, that the South Korean one is much cheaper. Does a similar job. The co-diagnostics and the Implant Studio are probably more your high end, so a little bit more expensive, and then you pay your yearly subscription fee, which is probably for the co-diagnostics, you're looking at just above £200 plus, I think. But yeah, come and I'll show you. Come and have a look.
Yeah. Certainly will.
You know, if you fancy it.
That's a scanning date.
Scanning date with the boys.
I'll tell you who you'll be surprised that I'm going to say this. I'll tell you who is probably one to talk to is Jag.
Okay. Yeah.
Because he's I know. Just got to catch him when he hasn't got a bottle of wine in front of him. But we should get him back on again and get him to talk about the because when we first started, he was kind of looking at the digital stuff, and then he really delved into it. I mean, really went into it big time. And bless him, I was, I've been using it for a while, but I hadn't gone into it into the depth that he'd gone. So he was sending me, I can print abutments and things like that. And I'm thinking, what? Ooh. And he was showing me these little mobile files that he'd got that you can import into the milling machine to mill the abutments so that he can put them. And I thought he's really taken it to a level that I haven't really. I've kind of like, compared to him, I dabble. So yeah, we should get him on.
Yeah, we'll have to get him on. We'll get him on. We'll have a scanning webinar.
Yeah, with a whiskey.
You can. Oh my God!
Bottle.
Get the angry boys together.
Only just recovering from the last time. I don't.
Just make sure you're not. Just make sure you're not on holiday, Kate.
Okay, I'll try. I'll fit it in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, if you don't mind.
Mr. Cole Horton. Now you behave. You behave. So what does the week ahead have for you boys? How soon do you actually, just going back, Will, if it's okay, with your immediate full arch cases, obviously I'm imagining you'll be sending some pre bits and pieces to your lab. So what sort of workup time do you have before you get the patients in?
Well, I usually like to have a sort of decent wax up or wax try in, just depending on how it's going to be. That's my sort of starter point that I need to have ready. And then it's just a case of, because there's a little bit of guesswork involved, isn't there, in terms of, are you going to be reducing bone? Are you going to be trying to do a sort of FP1 type thing, which is probably more my thing. However, one of the things I struggle with is my initial bridge is always screw retains, but usually my final bridges are a bar with a sleeve bridge. Okay. So there's quite often a bit of a discussion with the patient, because all of a sudden they're hearing removable, and I'm trying to explain that it's going to end up kind of being the same thing. I think if somebody's still got a massive bone, then I'd probably stay with the fixed all the way through. So you've got your basic on the day trial run, if you like. Might be a bit of a hybrid, or if you've got a shell made up, that can be picked up, and then just reproduce that as a bridge with no pink on it. But obviously, if there's a lot of bone loss and things like that, then I do prefer a sort of sleeve design. And the reason for that is I've taken many a full arch bridge off and found lots of unpleasant things underneath it, whereas this is so easy to clean, and it's so easy to reproduce as well, because you can actually order a duplicate sleeve that fits on top of the CAD-CAM bar, probably for about another 250 quid. Have that waxed up and kept in a box, so if something happens to the other one, you just slide it off, try the wax up, adjust it, and on you go. So really, go back to your original question, it's just a case of a bit of CBCT planning, getting a mock-up done, getting all the parts, all the abutments, different gingival heights and angles and things like that, and just going for it, really. So go for it.
There is a phenomenal amount of work, though, behind the scenes that goes on. I mean, you two know all very well, from the lab, from yourselves, from planning the case with the CBCT, with the patient being there, with the patient not being there, the amount of implants, as you've said, you know, will you be removing bone? There is a lot of work behind the scenes that patients don't see.
And also on the day, if you are doing it freehand, if you like, when those teeth come out, depending on the number of teeth there are, if there's a few teeth missing, it becomes a little bit easier, I think, because you can have a try in with a couple of teeth in there. If they're pretty much fully dentate but failing dentition, things get a little bit harder because there's a lot more guesswork. So when those teeth come out, you've then got to try this wax denture in, and you know what they can look like sometimes. You know, you can look like, you know, the vicar from Dick Emery. This is an old reference, old comedy reference. So they look a bit like. So that could need a little bit of. Shall I do that again? So you can do a little bit of adjustment, register the bite. You're right. You're okay. That was my that was my wax trying impression.
Oh dear.
Brilliant.
One more time. No.
Yeah, go on, mate. Go on. Do it. Superb.
I don't know if you find the same sort of thing, Carl.
I can't do it because I got this in the way. So I just look like Freddie Mercury with no teeth. I look like an edentulous Freddie Mercury.
I've only been drinking coffee. Maybe that's it.
No.
Yeah.
She's gone. We've lost her.
Yeah. I don't do as many hybrids probably as you do, which probably is something you know, I really enjoyed listening to what you said. And I think we've probably talked about this previously.
Yeah.
And I do kind of do the ovate Pontic design, and I was looking at Evo. Did that, you know, when you look, we bring it back to Evo again when they were doing that, and they don't do the sleeve. They don't do the sleeves either. They do the screw retained. But you know, I think there's obviously, because you're doing it, there's a lot of merit in what you're saying, a lot of advantage, and I think we've had this conversation, and I think it's a great idea that you've got a backup. And I think if you just got something that's screw retained and that goes and you get a fracture or something like that, to repair that is a big job. But if you've got that little sleeve, and exactly what you said, I totally agree, that just clips on, job done, having a spare one, a couple of £100, and it hasn't changed a great deal in terms of cost wise for you or the patient over the years. So I don't know whether you do. I think that when we talked, you basically just get 2 sleeves made, so that you got the second one ready and waiting.
Yeah, get them both to the point waxed up, and then get one processed, and just keep the other one.
They don't look like the vicar.
So they don't look like the vicar.
Yeah.
No, I'm not doing it again.
Yeah. No.
Don't do it again. Don't do it again. Don't do it again. I'm just about recovered. My goodness. So that's exactly what I mean, though. All of the bits that you guys have just mentioned, and never mind all the other bits and pieces, there is a lot of planning that goes into this prior to the day. Big days for you boys. You don't say much, both of you, about it, but they are big days. Very big days.
Big days out, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, Will's right. I mean, we had one the other day where they were pretty much failing, but almost fully dentate, not quite. And you know, when you've finished taking all the teeth out, you need to go for a cup of tea and a rest. So you know, they might still be peri-involved, but some of those peri-involved teeth do not want to budge sometimes.
Yeah, I know. You're just hoping these are going to come out quick and we can get on with it, and find yourself fiddling about with a luxator for half an hour.
Yeah. And then you know, what are you left with?
No.
You know, sometimes that bone looks nice on the scan, you planned it, and then you put your drill in, it just like that. So you got to think right, have I got anywhere else to go? Because sometimes there's not a lot of other places to go. And it comes back to what you said as well, Will, again, preparing the patient. So we'll always have that conversation that you may be walking out with a denture, not a bridge, because, you know, I don't know what we're going to find when we get in there. You know, if I've had 3 shredded wheat, I might be taking some of that bone away when I extract today. No, I'm just joking. But, you know, but
it is right.
It can, yeah. Although we try and make it as predictable as possible, there is an element of unpredictability about it.
Yeah.
And you have to think on your feet then, and think, right, where can we go from here? What can we do? Will we be able to load it? You know, is that position going to be okay? Is it restorable? Because there's no point in putting an implant in if you can't restore on it. It's just it's a wasted implant. All those things.
All that.
All
those things. Well, gentlemen, look at the time. Where did that go?
Wow.
Flew by.
Yeah.
Flew by. It flew by. Well, I'm going to say thank you very much to everybody out there. I hope you've enjoyed it certainly as much as I have. It's been very nice.
Thanks for joining us, Kate. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, nice of you
welcome.
to come today. Thank you.
Yeah.
After tonight, I need a holiday. So, you know, I'll hopefully see you next week. Let's see. Hope you boys have a lovely weekend. Everybody out there, hope you have a lovely weekend too.
Yeah.
And don't forget, same time, same place next week.
Cheers.
Adios.
Thanks a lot. Excellent.